Hello. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon.
Hi, greetings. How are you?
Doing great. How are you? Of
Not too shabby. Thank you for asking.
course, yeah. Happy Friday.
Same. T2.
Thanks.
Happy Friday and welcome.
Mhm. Thank you for everyone being here so promptly. We'll kind of just wait a few more minutes and allow people to hop on, and then we'll start. This isn't going to be a very long webinar, but we want to leave lots of time for any questions. So yeah, so we'll just wait just a few more moments. All right, well, I can't really see my screen anymore. Do we still have people trickling in, or it seems like we're pretty steady? So I'm gonna go ahead and start. We are recording this, so anyone that missed it can watch it later. So good afternoon to everybody. Happy Friday. I hear there is rain on the way, which is really good for us because we have been in a pretty severe drought. So this webinar today is going to go over the concept and our timeline for what we're calling Homegrown Hillsborough University. So, real quick, just because there are a few new names and just because we want this to be cemented in your heads, what is Homegrown Hillsborough? Homegrown Hillsborough is a peer-to-peer learning network of community members with the mission to grow a strong food system. We value accessibility, community well-being, choice, education, and stewardship. And our vision is an integrated food system that is diverse, reliable, and creates opportunity for active participation. And we feel that HHU really reflects our mission, vision, values by really enabling this peer-to-peer learning. We'll talk about that. Accessibility. This will allow people to kind of take their education into their own hands on their own timeline. And then obviously creates opportunity for active participation. We are hoping that all of you will get actively involved and will not only be students, but will also become teachers. So, what is Homegrown Hillsborough University? So, the short of it is that it is going to be online learning opportunities. And so, the way that this is going to be structured is we're going to have online self-paced courses. We are going to talk about summer school, which will have a little bit of a schedule to it. But by and large, these are going to be online learning modules at what you can do on your own pace, your own time, whether that is you want to sit down in one day and crank out a whole module, or whether you need to break it up into 30 minutes at a time over the course of a month. And so I think that we all know that scheduling can be tricky and can make it so that you are unable to, do all the things you want to do. So we're hoping that these online self-paced courses will enable you to be able to take these courses and participate as you can. Course selection will grow over time. So we're starting with two kind of foundational courses that we're hoping all members of the platform will take. You will see they are going to be very familiar to you. It's going to be food system basics and then homegrown Hillsborough basics. And then as new members join the platform, we're really going to push them to take those courses. So that way we are all on the same page, talking the same language about what is homegrown Hillsborough and what is our food system. Over time, we want our members to also kind of lead and submit courses. And we haven't really developed what that process will look like, but we are thinking that probably next year we will open up the call for module lessons. And between now and then, we can start kind of brainstorming what those would look like. So at the end of our conference last year, one of our workshops was kind of talking about this, talking about HHU. And we know that our network network is full of people that have incredible talents. Everybody has something to teach and everybody has something to learn. So HHU is really going to help us operationalize that. So if you are somebody who is very knowledgeable about a specific skill set, you will have the opportunity to create an online module that will live on the Homegrown Hillsborough platform in order to help teach your peers. It's going to be hosted on our platform, so we'll show you in a moment what that will look like. But if you are on the Homegrown Hillsborough platform, this will just be seamlessly integrated. It's a new feature that we have been working with the platform engineers to see how to release it, and we think that it's pretty easy and hopefully will be kind of your go-to place for online learning. Um, we already talked about how partners will be able to create their own content. We will provide like a little bit of an outline and kind of like the expectations that we have, but we really do want you to shine and to be able to teach your peers the things that you are experts in. And then courses will be available year round, all the time, online. And so that way, if you miss an in-person class or a topic, you can still access it on the platform. So we've talked about this a lot through our work, but why is this important? And with Homegrown Hillsborough, we are largely a leadership and professional development network. We want to support you and your visions and your goals, and we want to be able to provide those resources and those opportunities that satisfy your needs in a way that is meaningful and also convenient to you. And so this will be one of the ways that we can provide continuous learning opportunities. So as time goes on, as our landscape changes, maybe the our will maybe our network we kind of realize like everybody would maybe benefit from some like media training, and we can create an online module about what is media training, what does it mean to talk to the press, what are some tips to do that, and then that way you can access that and be better prepared for when you are invited to be on an interview or a radio show or something like that. These skills will help expand your capacity and will hopefully support your organizations and the work that you do. So that way you can be successful in your work and we can work collectively together. Once again, partners will have the opportunity to teach. So it won't just be you will have the opportunity to learn, but you also have the opportunity to teach. And that can range from things like what is food sovereignty to integrated pest management for strawberries. We're really going to kind of leave that open and kind of try to figure out how we can get all of this knowledge into one place and have it live online. And then you'll be able to gain micro credentials. So we've been hearing a lot about how people are looking for some kind of credentialing process, and we're hoping that through HHU we can satisfy that. So let's talk about summer school. So summer school is going to be kind of our first launch with HHU. And while these courses will be open to everybody to take, the summer school aspect of it is going to be online modules complemented with mandatory in-person discussions about the modules. So, for example, summer school is largely about operations. So, it won't necessarily talk about things like what is food sovereignty. It'll talk about things like different strategies for fundraising. So, it really is to support the foundations of your organization. So that way you can go and be successful and be able to build and expand and have greater impact. And so the online courses over the summer, and we picked the summer because we all know it's everyone else in the world is growing, but we are not. It's too hot to grow for the most part, and it's a good time to kind of stay inside, stay in the AC, get ready for the next season. And so we have decided that from starting June 10th through August 5th, every other week there will be in-person discussions related to the kind of topic du jour. So we'll talk about that on the next slide. But the summer school is just one component of HHU. HHU will live on always, but summer school will be an annual opportunity for organizations to strengthen their operations. We are going to limit it to 10 participants, so it will be a little competitive. And we will talk about actually We don't have a slide about it, but for the application process, what we are thinking is basically getting applicants to write a letter of intent or letter of interest, which is often the first step in grant writing. And so gives you the opportunity to kind of explain and visualize what your operation hopes to do. And then we'll use that as the foundation throughout summer school as a building block, as the foundation. And then ideally at the end of summer school, you'll have ultimately a really strong grant proposal or just a strong program plan that you can use to either apply for Homegrown Hillsborough funds or funds external to Homegrown Hillsborough, other grants and opportunities. So 10 participants. The first step is going to be completing modules 1 and 2. Those modules are food system foundations and then homegrown Hillsborough foundations. And so we are working on those now. We're hoping to release them on March 13th, so just in a few weeks. And like I said, we're hoping everybody in the network takes them. But that if you are going to apply for summer school, that is your first step, is to take the foundational modules, and then you will be able to apply for summer school. After you complete summer school, you will be eligible for $10,000 or there will be, I think, three $10,000 grants that you'll be eligible for, and you'll only be competing amongst your cohort. So of those 10, three people are going to be awarded grants. And that's kind of the process of using the letter of intent throughout the summer, really developing that program plan and getting you to a place where you're ready to implement. So the timeline, I kind of already said on Friday, March 13th, we are going to release modules 1 and 2. We're also going to open the applications. So you'll see on the platform that day that things might look a little different. And you'll probably see that we are going to have a post related to applications being open. And so applications will be open through May or till May 10th. So there's a lot of time. We wanted to make sure we gave everyone time to complete these first foundational courses, and to complete your application. So, March 13th, things will kind of go live, and then May is when HHU applications are due. We will quickly kind of turn around and create our first cohort, and then our virtual onboarding will be on May 27th, which will be a 1 hour discussing expectations, reviewing the calendar, talking about where we're going to meet, just kind of those basic housekeeping things. And then the breakdown of our courses for summer school are things like civics, like introduction in civics. And this is actually this was related to feedback that we got at the conference. We had really positive feedback about the panel with Councilwoman Lynn Hurtak and some representatives from the city. But people are saying, wow, there is so much like policy jargon that I don't know. And so this first civics course is not going to be a deep dive, but it will introduce some of those concepts that are very important in understanding how our food system interacts with not necessarily the policy landscape, but with decision makers. Um, then we're going to do operations part 1, followed by operations part 2. And that's going to be things like program planning, evaluation, budgeting, fundraising. What are some other topics? Things about your operations for your organization. We'll talk about human capital, which is kind of about like personnel and staff management and how to grow a strong team, what leadership and teamwork kind of, the outcomes of that, and how to ultimately, whether your team is a team of volunteers or whether it's paid staff or whether it's an intern, how to manage and build your human capital for your organization. And then lastly, we'll talk about digital literacy, which is some online tools that will make your life easier if you choose to learn how to use them. So things just like Google Drive and Excel and scheduling links and just different ways that you can save time by embracing some online technology. But it's always a little scary to learn new things. So we want to do that alongside you. And then lastly, we'll have a grant announcement and a celebration for our first cohort in September. So when HHU goes live on the 13th, this is just a screenshot. It says it's unpublished because it's not published yet, but this is what it'll look like. So you'll see on the main page, there will be an opportunity for courses, and I'll show you that in just a second. And then you'll see things like this. So module 1, food system foundations, It'll show you kind of what the outcome is. So you'll get a certificate of completion. And then it has a quick description of what the module contains. So they're not published right now, so you won't be able to see them right now. But once they do go live, everybody that's on the platform will be able to access it. If you're not already on the platform, then we encourage you to join as soon as you can. You can go to platform.homegrownhillsborough.com and register, and we will get you on there. And then you'll see that there is on the side right now, you probably don't see it because I don't think it's there. But you'll see that it says learning and then courses. And then you'll click on that, and that'll take you to the page of courses where we hope that in the not too distant future, there are courses that we've created, there's courses that you've created. So that way we can really emphasize that peer-to-peer learning aspect. That is largely it. We want to open the floor for questions and see what kind of questions you all have, and if I need to clarify anything or any feedback. But that's largely what HHU is. We wanted to just take this time to kind of quickly explain and get everybody hopefully getting ready for summer school if that is something that you want to pursue. Yeah, so Sake, and then we'll do Jennifer. Oh, Jennifer, you came off mute, so yeah.
I have a question about the grant or the overall outcome of the program. Maybe you mentioned it, but I was curious, what is Homegrown Hillsborough's goal in what we are going to like get, not get out of it, but where we should be at the end of completing all this? So what is it that you want to see come out of all of this?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And so what we're hoping is that basically by going through this process and having this grant, which we are kind of envisioning as seed money, that the through HHU and through summer school, organizations will be capable for either revenue generation, so to actually sell their product and become self-sustaining, or they'll be more capable and confident in getting funders and donations, so that way they are not dependent on grants, but can actually build up their base of supporters through either revenue generation or fundraising. And so a lot of that really does come down to the question of, can you communicate your value to a funder or to a client? And so through HHU, through summer school, we want to help kind of make that possible. And so we'll talk about things like different outreach strategies and the importance of having like a member list, and we'll connect you. Largely what HHU is just a way to show all of the resources that are available to us and packaged in a way that we hope is useful. So I think, like, to answer your question, what we're hoping on the other side of this is to have 10 organizations that are stronger and more capable of fundraising, revenue generation, standalone, without needing grants or influxes of grants, basically.
Okay, so people that can start a business selling food that they've grown themselves.
Yeah, things like that. And so we want to work with you and connect you to partners that might be able to help. Maybe there are conversations that you'll want to have with regulatory bodies about what you can and cannot do. The ECC has a lot of really good courses already on like food entrepreneurship and how to, the things you need to access. So yeah, we want to work with people very intentionally to help their vision become a reality.
Thank you.
My pleasure, yeah.
So I have a follow-up on that. Hi, this is Akit here.
Mhm.
So the follow-up is, what about the organizations that are right now majorly focused on processing, food processing, and then just starting their farming business? So in that case, how do they demonstrate that they are capable long term of sustaining?
Well, and I think that's what the letter of intent, that application process, I think that is going to be what we're looking for. But we are like totally welcoming new ideas and new ventures that haven't really had the chance to demonstrate themselves yet. And so we're kind of hoping that through summer school, we can either help somebody realize like, yes, you're on the right track, or maybe you should pivot to a different model or a different strategy, or partner with somebody, or maybe someone's already doing that work, and so complementing your services with them. And Homegrown Hillsborough isn't just farming. So we do all food system sectors, and so processing is part of that. And yeah, and so I would say please apply when applications are open, and we can determine whether it's a good fit. And I think that we are looking for, ventures that are anywhere along their process, and actually I think that this is mostly targeting some of those like nascent new ideas.
And second question on that. So, is it required for the organization to be registered in some shape or form, like nonprofit or for profit or LLC or whatever? Is that required for the application or letter of intent?
It will be required to receive grant funding. It's not required by the time of the application, but in order to ultimately receive the grant funding, yes, you'll have to have a business. I think that there's ways that uh, like I said, you could partner with somebody and provide services through their organization. But ultimately, yes, to receive the grant funding, you will have to have a business or a nonprofit that is registered.
I have a question for you.
Mhm.
Actually a nonprofit that is venturing into this subject. One of the things I wanted to find out is there in the presentation that we're going to probably present, if we offered a matching fund so that if $10,000 was awarded and I put 2,000, but we're looking for people that are into the subject, which I don't want to get into right now, but if they're into the subject, we would be willing to match it if we put the people together. Could you help find us the people to present?
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. So Edward, I don't think I've had the pleasure of meeting you yet, but Homegrown Hillsborough, we have over 300 partners in our network that are all involved in different aspects of the food system, and so we can have a conversation about what exactly your idea is, and I could probably help rattle off a lot of partners that would probably fit that, or I can show you how you can kind of make that announcement and kind of filter out the person that you're looking for. But yeah, we would love to accept more support and help. And if you have a vision, we'd love to see what we can do to bring that to life.
Well, that's really what I'm trying to figure out is how do I go about presenting it to y'all? Because right now it's just a concept that's valid. I've done the numbers, I've done some concept behind it. I'm a businessman, self-employed my whole life, so I've owned more business than I can have on my feet or toes. So anyway, so where do we do this during the application time or do we do this in advance of that?
I think that what you're talking about is probably a meeting with like me or Savannah, to kind of just like get a quick clarity on exactly what you're looking for. And so, what I can do is, I'll send a follow up. If you can just put your email in the chat, then I'll send a follow up and we can connect, and talk about that.
I have a question. Is
Mhm.
there a restriction on the way the grant fund can actually be used? Are there limits to what it can and cannot be used in?
I'm not actually sure about that yet. I'm gonna say yes, just because they're probably like, there probably are. But we haven't necessarily exactly outlined what that would be. Is there a specific concern that you have? I will say this, that the money has to be used for operations that are serving Hillsborough County residents. And so you don't necessarily have to live or have your business registered in Hillsborough County, but the money has to serve Hillsborough County residents.
Yeah, no, because some of the grants are like you cannot use it for buying food and this and that. I mean, there are restrictions in certain grants. I just wanted to know how should the letter of intent really be designed to really be aligned with what your guidelines are.
Yeah, so the way that we try to do Homegrown Hillsborough funding is with kind of without a lot of restrictions and allow we see this money once again as like seed money. So we hope that once you can get substantial dollars to demonstrate proof of concept, then that's enough to get somebody to either, once again, generate revenue to support themselves or be able to communicate that value proposition to funders and donors. So that way they can be self-sustaining without having to continue applying for grants. And so we try not to limit. We have had caps in the past on how much can be used for like personnel. I think that in the past we had a 25% cap, but we will kind of, outline that and get more specific. But generally we do try to have semi-unrestricted funds. So that way it's a proof of concept that you can, really use to create that value proposition. Any other questions? Yep.
Also in the chat, there was, I don't know if you want to go back to the
Oh, yeah.
slide about the summer school times. Someone asked what days and times it would be. And
I guess
then,
I didn't say times. Yeah, sorry.
it's okay. Like it's on there, it's on the
Yeah,
slide. So,
yeah. So
Brandon,
we are
here it
looking
is.
at Wednesdays in the evening. And once again, scheduling's hard for everybody, but we kind of thought that this would maybe be that sweet spot of after work, after dinner, maybe. And so it's a lot of time, right? 3 to 9, or sorry, 6 to 9, 3 hours every other week. But our vision for the in-person discussions is that you will come having completed the module. We will discuss the concepts in it. We'll do an activity, and we'll probably also have an in-person guest speaker on the subject. Where will these take place? We are working right now with HCC to try to get a classroom. And so I think that we have a lead on a classroom in Ybor City at the HCC in Ybor City, but we're still trying to firm that up. If anything, it would probably be out at Extension, out in Seffner, but we're looking to either do it in the HEC Ybor campus or possibly the Brandon campus. I see, Alice, you asked about does it have to be nonprofit or for-profit? It can be for-profit. And like I said, this is going to be kind of that seed money to help demonstrate proof of concept. And so it can be a business.
So in your presentation, you had mentioned people are sometimes confused about policies. Can you talk just not all the policy, but what are some of the policies that will be discussed here, and what are some things that people are sort of unaware of? Because I
We're not really going to discuss like policy necessarily, but we'll go over things like what is the Board of County Commission? What is the City Council? What is the structure of a strong mayor and city council? Who are those decision makers? Because ultimately, if you're trying to promote urban food production and the city code doesn't allow it, you won't get very far. And so you wouldn't want to build a business or a nonprofit off something that isn't legally allowed. And so just teaching people how to access those resources, teaching people kind of the structure of what our decision makers look like, and some common vocabulary words associated with that. But it won't necessarily be like a deep dive into food policy. It will be an introduction, so that way members, if they are interested or they think that they need to learn more, that they can know where to access those resources in order to deepen that knowledge. I see some questions. I have several youth interested in where to get started with farming and get them connected. Could this grant be used to start something to get you started? Absolutely. And Alicia, I do want to quickly say, I think that you joined the platform last week. Welcome. We're happy to have you. Alice, who's also on this call, has a small farm out in like the Wamama area. And I'm sure that she'd love to have a conversation with you. And I think we have, a handful of partners who would love to learn more about that. But yes, this grant could be used for that. If you are thinking of starting a nonprofit that is like this is supposed to be not just a one-time project, like a something that you do once, but something that can build into an organization that you hope to grow and develop over time. And so if you are interested in kind of a specific time limited project, I would encourage you to find a partner in the network, partner with them, and kind of bring that idea to life together. But if you are interested in starting a nonprofit that is focused on youth and farming, then this might be a really good opportunity to flush out that idea and to get to a program plan and how to evaluate it, so that way you can continue to do that in the long term. The next question, can this be for educational purposes, like building a small farm garden run by kids for educational purpose? Yes, Jennifer, it seems like you and Alicia maybe should chat with, this is kind of the power of Homegrown Hillsborough is that we have a lot of people that are interested in this stuff and we can all work together to get it done. So yes, it can be. And same kind of response, which is that this wouldn't be just kind of a one-time thing. This would be something that we would want in perpetuity and an organization that you're hoping to be, sustained for years to come.
Yeah, I would
Will there
love,
be, oh, sorry, go on.
yeah, I would love to see that. I'm actually a 4-H leader, and I work with a lot of the youth. They're in livestock. We came to the thing last Friday
Yeah,
that you guys did. So we have a lot of kiddos that are interested in this, and I've seen it throughout the years, even before my kids were old enough to really be seriously interested. So it's something that I would love to help grow and to see get up and running and being something, that even when my kids someday are able to take it over and be mentors for the youth, to get started. The average age of our farmer is 60. That's a big problem. So
yeah.
if we have them interested at 14, 15, 16, there's got to be somewhere they can go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And that is a really important conversation that needs to be had and we are having it. But yeah,
Nope.
we know we would love for you to be part of that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah. And then Learning Gate Garden has a school garden as well. Invite local volunteers. 39% of agricultures go unfilled. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think we all know there's a lot of need for all of this work. And in Homegrown Hillsborough, we're hoping to be a place where we can have these conversations and bring these actions to life. And so, over my last 5 years of in this role, I know that there are so many people that are working really hard and that are interested and capable and able. And we want to, as Homegrown Hillsborough, be able to support those visions. We believe that through the summer school process and with this initial grant funding, we can really start, like I said, getting that proof of concept and then hoping to either find match dollars from a wonderful donor out there or to support you in your organization as you develop your value proposition, basically. So, I will kind of quickly, I know we have a handful of new people on the call, and so I want to just kind of quickly show the platform for those that aren't on it. So when I talk about the platform, this is what I'm talking about. You guys can see my screen, right? Okay, great. Got
Yes.
ahead. So yeah, this is the platform. How you join is you can either go to platform.homegrownhillsborough.com, which because I'm logged in, it took me to the page. If you don't have an account, it'll ask you to create an account and then we will accept you into it. Another way to find it is you can go to homegrownhillsborough.com, scroll over to connect, and then right here, new partners can register, existing partners can access. And so this is where it's kind of the brain of Homegrown Hillsborough. This is where those learning courses will be. So like you all can't see this yet because it's not published. But what this will be is where all the modules are. And then if you ultimately, like Alicia, if you in the future want to do a module on working with the youth in ag and you have some important things like liability and how to have outreach and how to connect different resources and you want to provide a module on that, then you'll be able to do that and other members will be able to access it. And so in the future, when other people that want to work with youth, they can ultimately learn from you. And so this is where the modules will be, and we hope that there will be many, many, many. So yeah, so if you're not on the platform, go ahead and get on the platform. And we have our main page, which is where I just saw that Kitty just posted something, I think. Yep, annual spring garden open house, a heat and climate training, the city with the land use, a seed swap. So this is a really great place for you to see other things that are going on. Also, like for Edward, for your situation, this would be a great place to post if you're looking for a partner specific to something, or if Alicia, if you have students that are interested in a field trip and you're looking for a farm site to go visit, you can use this here to post that. Looking for farm. I have 12 4-H students and we want to tour a farm. Can anyone help? And then what happens is that all 346 members have the opportunity to view this. They can message you, they can connect there. So, never be afraid to use the platform to connect with others. Any
That's
other questions
fantastic.
about, oh,
Thank
sorry, go
you.
on.
No, I said that's fantastic. Thank you.
My pleasure. Yeah.
Actually, I do have a question about the platform. So
Okay.
the groups that we're able to join, are those assigned to us, or are we able to select those groups once we're a part of the platform?
You are able to select them. There's a few that are closed, so like you won't be able to see them. So like our emerging professionals page, that's like an internship that's closed just for those students. And then same thing with Acre. We had a that page will probably go away soon, so you won't be able to see those. Those are specific, and we'll probably have a summer school closed group, so that way we can communicate to everybody dates, times, expectation, things like that. But the main page is where everybody kind of lives. And then you can choose to, and we encourage you to join the economic development, farm to school, food access, food production, planning and policy, sustainability. Those are all groups that you can join.
Thank you.
And then when you go to those groups, you'll see that those have usually specific content about, right now I'm in the farm to school. So I shared that the farm to school conference is actually going to happen in Tampa this year. And so if people are able to attend that, which it's a great conference, I encourage everyone to attend. It is free as well. Then, this is on the calendar. People can attend. And then, versus in the food production working group, this is where different opportunities related to food production are posted and shared. So if you are maybe not interested in food production, but you're more interested in food access, then you don't have to basically get all of the notifications about food production if you're more geared towards food access. And of course, everything's intersectional and all that. But it's a way for you to kind of really focus on like the exact things that are important to you and that you're looking for versus kind of getting flooded with resources that may or may not be relevant. And I see in the chat, maybe I'm so excited. Awesome. Great. Any other questions about HHU, about the platform? Really the next step is just kind of stay tuned. March 13th, we're hoping to release those first two modules. We do want everyone to complete them. It won't be like required by well, it will be required to apply for summer school, but if you are not going to apply for summer school, then it won't be required. But I do think it's a great way to see how the modules work. So if you are interested in creating a module of your own, you'll be able to see the different capabilities. And then also it's just a really good way for us to kind of standardize some of this stuff and be more capable as we communicate what our work is, what Homegrown Hillsborough is, what the food system is. And so me and Savannah have been working really hard on these, and I think they're going to be really good. And yeah, so you'll March 13th, the applications will also become open. You'll have until May 10th. Don't worry, we'll be reminding you on the platform about that due date. And we're available, in the meantime. And then after that, summer school will start.
I'm not 100% sure how to get it. I have a question. So on this platform itself, recently I just saw, I think Monica had posted, there is a point system, the way community engagement is evaluated for various groups that are part of this platform. Would that make a difference in the summer workshop at the time when you're making a decision on the grant?
Um, for for this, no. That was how we that was part of our rubric for our last grant cycle. But long story short, no, it won't be. But we always encourage everyone to go to events and to keep posting. And we're kind of reevaluating the partner points and how we want to all the kind of go forward with that.
I
Great.
guess, just so you know, I'm very interested in getting together as soon as possible. We've got a lot of planning going on right now. So
Sounds
anyway,
good.
just let me know.
Yeah, I'll send you an email and we can find some time to connect. Um, And yeah, I'm happy that you want to get to work. We love it. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, then have a great rest of your Friday. And we'll talk to you all soon.